Okay, here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is. I hope it's good to be where you are because it is certainly good to be here. My name is Baltimore Fats, and this is a special edition of Mud City. Yeah, okay, here we go. All right, so good morning. Like I said, I hope everyone's well. I'm pretty excited about what just the connection that just came up for me while doing a little basic research for season two. Um, Trying to think ahead about where I could take some of this. And so, excuse me, I was looking into the worms and dragons connection, right? The worm knights. I got to find out more about the worm knights. And so I came across this webpage here. And I just did this like 10 minutes ago. And when this connection came up, I stopped and said, I'm going to go live with this one for New Year's. Uh, So what's the difference between dragons, wyverns, drakes, and so forth? Okay, so here we go. Um, so it's using modern pop culture precedent, right, and also ancient etymology of the words, right, and he goes into mythology as well. Right, so dragon in pop culture often refers to a whole category of monsters that tend to be covered in scales with a long, thick tail, often bat-winged with 4 or 6 limbs, right? Everybody kind of gets that, right? Everybody's seen, Dragon Slayer or The Hobbit or whatever dragon, movie. They're pretty ubiquitous. Uh, so the word dragon is etymologically traced et- etymologically, I guess that's right, traced to 13th century French, which has its roots in Latin draconum, right, huge serpent or dragon, which has its roots in draken, right, serpent, giant sea fish. Interesting. Um, the way the Greeks and Romans used the word, it could also refer to real snakes of a large size, right, in addition to mythological monsters, right? There's also the Drakian Draco, a wolf-headed banner that was held up by cavalrymen that would take the appearance of a serpentine figure whipping through the wind. And there, that thing is, right? Okay. All right. And similar serpentine predator motifs are also found in Central Asian and East Asian artwork contemporary to the Rome Dacia conflict and earlier. I have to find out about this Rome Dacia thing. So got some dragon action in there, I guess. As many ancient and Asian, European, and African too mythologies. So apparently there's dragon mythology in Africa. Include serpentine monsters. There's a theory of a common origin from an ancient Proto-Indo-European religion. Now that's interesting, right? Ancient Proto-Indo-European religion, right? One common myth among almost all Indo-European mythologies is a battle ending with a hero or god slaying a serpent or dragon of some, right? And here it comes, right? So I was looking at this list of hero dragon battles, right? And this one struck me because I wanted to find like what would be the first one, right? And so I don't know that much about Greek mythology, but I think Kronos is Zeus's father, right? And he was a Titan or something. He was the first, or certainly one of them, right? And this Ophion, right? Never heard of Ophion before, so I was like, all right, let's find out who Kronos was battling. What this Ophion? Because I didn't think Kronos was a dragon. And maybe he is. I don't know. I'd have to look. So here we go. And now we're coming right up to where I even left off, right? So you're going to be coming with me. All right. In some versions of Greek mythology, Ophion is called Ophinius. He ruled the world with Eurynomy before the two of them were cast down by Kronos and Rhea, right? Pherecydes of Syros's Heptamychia is the first attested mention of Ophion. The story was apparently popular in Orphic poetry. And see, now that's interesting because Orphic goes right to Orpheus, whose statue is next to the Star Fort at Fort McHenry, right? So, bang, a Baltimore kind of connection to dragons right from the jump, right? Apollonius of Rhodes, in his Argonautica, summarizes a song of Orpheus. So this is Orpheus here, Right? He's saying how the earth, the heaven, and the sea once mingled together in one form after deadly strife were separated from each other, and how the stars and the moon and the paths of the sun ever kept their fixed place in the sky, and how the mountains rose, and how the resounding rivers with their nymphs came into being, and all creeping things. And he's saying how first of all Ophion and Eurynome, daughter of Oceanus, held the sway of snowy Olympus, and how through strength of arm one yielded his prerogative to Cronos, and the other to Rhea, and how they fell into the waves of Oceanus. But the other two, meanwhile, ruled over the blessed Titan gods, while Zeus, still a child with his thoughts, and with the thoughts of a child, dwelt in the Dictaean cave, and the earthborn Cyclops had not yet armed him with the bolt, with thunder and lightning, for these things give renown to Zeus. Like Ophion relates that Zeus's mother Rhea is skilled in wrestling, having cast the former queen Eurynome into Tartarus. And this is it. This is where I left Tartarus. Are you kidding me? With all this Tartaria stuff going around in the mud flood? Tartarus has a connection to dragons, which has a connection to Orpheus, which has a connection to Baltimore. So in Greek, here we go. I mean, this is, as soon as I clicked this, I said, nope, here it goes. I'm making a live video. I'm coming at you live. In Greek mythology, Tartarus is the deep abyss that is used as a dungeon of torment and suffering for the wicked and the prison for the Titans. Isn't that's kind of interesting? Tartarus is the place where, according to Plato's Gorgias, souls are judged after death and where the wicked receive divine punishment. Like other primal entities, such as the earth, night, and time, Tartarus is also considered to be a primordial force or deity. Tartarus, the name is probably onomatopoeic, the reduplication being designed to express something terrible or disagreeable, like Barbaros, Carcharon, and many others, according to Homer. According to Homer, is a deep and sunless abyss, as far below Hades as earth is below heaven, and closed in by iron gates. Into Tartarus, Zeus hurled those who rebelled against his authority, Cronos and the Titans. Afterwards, the name was employed sometimes as synonymous with Hades or the underworld generally, but more frequently to denote the place where the wicked were punished after death. Lowest hell, in fact. A noticeable feature about these punishments is their congruity with the nature of the offenses perpetrated. In Greek mythology, Tartarus is both a deity and a place in the underworld. In ancient Orphic sources and in the mystery schools, Tartarus is also the unbound, first existing entity from which the light and cosmos are born. This is crazy. I mean, so I don't know if you're catching what I'm catching from all of this, but it's, it's God and Satan being cast down, right? It's that same myth, right? But it's interesting that it's called Tartarus with all this Tartarian stuff going around, right? Worldwide civilization, that appears to be unified or at least uniform in its architecture, right? There's consistency across this world in terms of the architecture and the sense that there was something unified, right? And it's interesting that its name shares this history, that the Tartary name shares the history of Tartarus. And now I don't know if this is, I haven't been following channels as closely since I started this one because I've been kind of really interested in this work, and although I do catch up, but I have not seen, and so I apologize if this is information that's already out there. I'm super excited about it because I've never come across it before. I don't think I do not believe that I've seen any connection to this ancient Greek mythology, Tartarus, and the name Tartary and Tartaria and the civilization that was here prior to the mud event, right? Um, so I think that's pretty exciting, and especially that it also ties into dragons, right? And this is the pit where the dragon. See, now I'm so excited. I haven't looked at their names enough. I don't know them. Um, Ophion's wife, Eurynomy, all right? They were cast down. The dragon was cast down into Tartarus, right below hell, the lowest place you could go. That's us. That's Tartary, the lowest place. It's unbelievable. All right, so apparently there was a deity. I don't know. I haven't read this yet, so let's go. In the Greek poet Hesiod's Theogony, written at circa 700 BC, they tell us, right? Tartarus was the third of the primordial deities. Three. Now, okay, you don't see this, but I've been working on trying to make sense of the number three. So maybe I'll just go, right? I have this, and I've been working with the number three and all of this setup previous. I haven't closed these windows. I've done my number three routine 3 times, and that's kind of funny. And it's different every time. And so I haven't been able to really make sense of it enough to record it and present it yet. So interesting that's going to come into it. The third of the primordial deities, following after Chaos and Gaia, right? Gaia is the earth, right? Right? In Greek mythology, Gaia, also called, right, is the personification of the earth. I thought so. Okay, so the earth, right? Chaos. All right. He had pre-Socratic Greek term of cosmology. Chaos has been interpreted as either the gaping void above the earth created when the earth and sky are separated from their primordial unity, the gaping space below the earth on which the earth rests. Let's see what this painting of chaos looks like. All right. I don't know much about painting. This kind of looks like William Blake to me. Is this William Blake? No, George Frederick Watts. Chaos was the first thing to exist. At first, chaos came to be, but next came Gaia, Tartarus, and Eros. Elsewhere, the son of, I don't know, when did Eros pop in, right? Didn't it say 3? I guess the way they mix things up on you, I guess they got to keep you on your toes, right? So let's go back to Tartarus here, right? As the deity. Oh, he was the third of and he preceded Eros, right? And was the father by Gaia of the monster Typhon. Is Typhon the first dragon? It's a monstrous serpentine giant and the most deadly creature in Greek mythology, the son of Tartary, who in one aspect is the lowest place on the earth, and in the other is the third being in creation who fathers with Mother Earth, the serpentine giant, most deadly creature in Greek mythology, Typhon. Right? The Worm Knights. Unbelievable. Crazy, right? And so here we go, is Tartarus as a place. Hesiod asserts that a bronze anvil falling from heaven would fall 9 days before it reached the earth. 9 days. It's also divisible by 3. 3, 3, 3. Oh my God. We're going with the 3 thing. I'm just going to do it. In the Iliad, right? So it would take to fall from Earth to Tartarus. That's how far low Tartarus is, right? In the Iliad, Zeus asserts that Tartarus is as far beneath Hades as heaven is above the earth. Crazy. The gods of Olympus eventually triumphed. Kronos and many other titans were banished to Tartarus. Though Prometheus, right? Who we know what Prometheus did for us, don't we? All right. Epimetheus and Metis And most of the female Titans were spared. Yeah. Spare the women. According to Pindar, yeah, I mean, they need the women to repopulate. According to Pindar, Kronos somehow later earned Zeus's forgiveness and was released from Tartarus to become ruler of Elysium. And I'm sure that leads into other things, right? Another Titan, Atlas, was sentenced to hold the sky on his shoulders. Okay, right? Later, when Zeus overcame the monster Typhon, he threw him into wide Tartarus. Originally, Tartarus was used only to confine dangers to the gods of Olympus. In later mythologies, Tartarus became the place where the punishment fits the crime. So it's hell. Tartarus is hell. I mean, let's put that in our pipes and smoke it for a second and place that in the mud earth, I mean the mud flood, mud event sort of context, huh? And especially when you go into the use of the frequencies and the sonics and the idea of control, maybe we all are. Maybe we are in hell. The Matrix is hell. This earth is hell, right? That's what the this ancient Greek mythology story is telling us here about Tartarus, right? Oh, we got Ambrosia coming in. Let's see. I scrolled ahead without even reading here, so let's see. What was I going on about? Okay, where the punishment fits the crime. King Sisyphus was sent to Tartarus for killing guests and travelers to his castle in violation to his hospitality, seducing his niece and reporting once of Zeus's sexual conquests by telling the river god Asopus of the whereabouts of his daughter Aegina, who had been taken away by Zeus. But regardless of the impropriety of Zeus's frequent conquests, Sisyphus overstepped his bounds by considering himself a peer of the gods who could rightfully report their indiscretions. When Zeus ordered Thanatos to chain up Sisyphus in Tartarus, Sisyphus tricked Thanatos by asking him how the chains worked and ended up chaining Thanatos. As a result, there was no more death. Interesting. This caused Ares to free Thanatos and turn Sisyphus over to him. Ares, the god of war, right? Sometimes later, Sisyphus had Persephone. Persephone was who? That she ties into Orpheus, right? Was she Orpheus's mother? Sent him back to the surface to scold his wife for not burying him properly. It's a weird story. Sisyphus was forcefully dragged back to Tartarus by Hermes when he refused to go back to the underworld after that. In Tartarus, Sisyphus was forced to roll a large boulder up a mountainside, which, when he almost reached the crest, rolled away. Okay, yeah, that's a familiar mythological story. I never really knew that it took place in Tartarus. King Tantalus also ended up in Tartarus after he cut up his son Pelops, boiled him, and served him as food when he was invited to dine with the gods. He served his kid to the gods. He stole ambrosia from the gods and told his people its secrets. What do they consider ambrosia in this story here? There it is. Ambrosia is the food or drink of the Greek gods, often depicted conferring longevity and immortality. The good stuff. Ambrosia. Let's see, why did that scroll back? He stole the ambrosia from the gods and told his people its secrets. Another story mentioned that he held on to a golden dog forged by Hephaestus and stolen by Tantalus' friend Pandarus. Alright, so this is what happens, right? You do wrong. Alright, here we go. Only when Orpheus came down to the underworld. See, here we go with Orpheus now. See, I don't want to read the whole thing, but then it makes me want to read the whole thing. Because I think its point is made. Alright, so this is a news story. After says of Ixion. Many new machines on Ix. Dune reference there, sorry guys. Was the king of the Lapiths, the most ancient tribe of Thessaly. Ixion grew to hate his father-in-law and ended up pushing him into a bed of coal and woods, committing the first kin-related murder. See, they should put this stuff in some sort of chronological order, because that's confusing, considering Tantalus here just killed his kid, served him to the gods, you know. But when Ixion saw Hera, he fell in love with her and did some under-the-table caressing to get... until Zeus signaled him to... What? A little under-the-table footsie action happening between Ixion and Hera, and Zeus has knocked that off. Zeus created a cloud clone of Hera. A cloud clone! Named Nephili to test him to see how much he loved Hera. Ixion made love to the cloud clone, which result the cloud clones give birth to centaurs, who mated with Magnesian mares on Mount Pelion and created a race of centaurs who are called Ixonidae from their descent. Right? He punished Ixion, right? Mount Olympus, and struck him with a thunderbolt, punished him by being tied to a winged flaming wheel that was always spinning. Could that tie into, what was it? Who saw the spinning wheel? See, I'm asking this question to no one. The biblical story. It's killing me that the name's not there. You guys are all yelling at me too right now. I know you are. Only when Orpheus came down to the underworld to rescue Eurydice did it stop spinning because of the music Orpheus was playing. Ixion being strapped to the flame wheel represented his burning lust. And so that also, right, Orpheus was killed because he took place in an orgy for Dionysus. And see, Dionysus came up recently for me. Like now, with all this excitement, I forgot how I got to Dionysus. But, so here we go now, and we'll move on to the Romans, because I'm just chewing up time. I didn't set a timer. And I threatened to go into the 3 thing, but I don't think I'm going to do that, because it would just go on forever. And I didn't intend to make a video this morning, and I do have things to do today. I'm not even supposed to be here today. In Rome mythology, Tartarus is the place where sinners are sent. Virgil describes it in the Aeneid as a gigantic place, surrounded by the flaming river Phlegethon. Triple walls, the three coming to prevent sinners from escaping from it, is guarded by a hydra. There's the dragon, right? Multi-headed dragon. There's a castle with wide walls and a tall iron turret. Tisiphone, one of the Arenes, who represents revenge, stands guard sleepless at the top of this turret, lashing a whip. There is a pit inside, which is said to extend down to the earth twice as far as the distance from the lands of the living to Olympus. The bottom of this pit is the Titans, right? So, just, as with, I guess, most Roman myths, they just kind of echo, right there. Oh, what is that word? Pseudepigrapha? Grapha? Pseudepigrapha. Grapha. I don't know. Biblical pseudepigrapha. Grapha. Apocrypha. I love the name Apocrypha. I love these stories that didn't quite make the Bible. Tartarus occurs in the Septuagint of Job. Wow. But otherwise is only known in Hellenistic Jewish literature from the Greek text of Enoch. So I'm sure other researchers have been here, and I haven't caught their videos. But man, I was super excited to come across this Tartarus connection and the dragons, and which ties it to worm people, which ties it to the Worm Knights, who settled Baltimore for the Worm Knights of the Crown. All right, let's see, dated 400, 200 BC, right? The Book of Enoch, right? This states that God placed the archangel Uriel in charge of the world and of Tartarus. Tartarus is generally understood to be the place where 200 fallen watchers are imprisoned. Interesting. Okay, so Tartarus also appears in sections of the Jewish Sibylline oracles. All right, in the New Testament, Christian, see, they call it hell, right? In the New Testament, the noun Tartarus does not occur, but Tartaru, a shortened verb of the classical Greek, does appear in 2 Peter. Do they give the... For if God did not spare angels when they sinned, but cast them into hell, and committed them to chains of gloomy darkness to be kept until judgment. So, Adam Clark reasoned that Peter's use of language relating to the Titans was an indication that the ancient Greeks had heard of a biblical punishment of fallen angels. So they want to put the Jewish before the Greek. Anyway, okay. So I guess that's my run through how this is sort of how it happens to me. Just started looking up the dragons and the difference between dragons, and you'll notice in this article they use the word Drake and Sir Francis Drake, Worm Knight. I'm going to touch on him because in the brief bit of research I have been able to do over this holiday in regards to the Worm Knights, it's a big story, and I'm going to have to bring it way back, and it's going to be exciting for me because there are some interesting connections to be made. So let's see, what time do I have here? I have exactly 9 o'clock in the morning. So I'm going to touch a little bit on this number 3 thing, and this is not even the first slide I wanted to present. And the slideshow doesn't want to work at all. Okay, sorry guys. Yeah, I started on this whole thing, and it's once again spiraled completely out of control on me. So I stopped it, and I will try to present that information in a different way because it's very vast, and the rabbit holing that can happen. Like I said, now this I think would make the 4th attempt. I've tried to harness a cohesive structure to the number 3, and I couldn't do it. But so it started off pretty good, so maybe I'll use it as a base and continue on with it. So I'm gonna close this video up. I hope everyone had a great holiday. I hope everyone has a great new year. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to get going on season 2 in earnest. Thank everyone so much for watching and commenting. All the great comments I get are great. I like the double use of the word great there. But it's just so overwhelming for me. I'm just so grateful, and so please take care, everyone, and until the next time, cheers. Or until the next one, right? That's what I used to say, right? Until the next one, cheers.